Struggling to cut through the webinar noise? You're not alone. And that's why we're talking all about it on this Monday Marketing Moment. Hello and happy Marketing Monday. Webinars have massive potential for brand building, lead generation, and for evergreen content. They are like the holy grail of marketing. But with inboxes overflowing with invites, how do you get your ideal audience to tune in and stick around? Well, I'm here this week to equip you with 6, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, battle-tested tips to transform your webinars from a snooze fest into an engagement powerhouse and attract your dream viewers and crush your KPIs. So let's just dive right into it. Tip number 1, know your audience. It's true with content and it's even more true with webinars. To create an impactful webinar, understand your audience. And this is the most essential part. Ask yourself, who are they? What are they struggling with? And what do they hope to achieve? By answering these questions, you can tailor your marketing and your webinar to directly address those needs and provide situations for improving their lives. And if you have more than one audience to consider, you should break your webinars down into shorter series that target the right audience with the right message. That way, you're not just doing one catch-all webinar. So, tip number 2, don't forget about your mobile attendees. We've all attended a webinar from a phone, and sometimes you're not able to read the slides or the audio is off. About 25% of your webinar viewers prefer to watch them on their phone or tablet instead of their desktop. To make sure that you have a great experience for them too, make sure that your text and visuals are big enough and are clear enough to be seen on a small screen. And whenever a webinar, when picking that platform, go for one like Click Meetings that works on mobile devices. There's even a few apps that you can download and run a webinar right from your phone. So you might want to check those out as well. Tip number 3, document your process. Hey, when it comes to marketing your webinar as efficiently as possible, don't skip out on documenting your process. Trust me, it's super important, especially if you're planning on hosting a bunch of them like that series I talked about before. Start by setting up an editorial calendar where you jot down the webinar topics, who's speaking, and when they'll happen. That way you stay organized and avoid any of the last minute chaos. And don't forget to break down each stage of your process into the smaller tasks. We often forget to do this. This will help you keep track of everything and make sure nothing slips through the cracks. I would also consider using a project management tool if you're not already. This will allow you to collaborate with other people on your team and stay on top of those deadlines, which is so important when we're talking about something that's as time sensitive as a webinar. And here's another pro tip. Make sure to document different ways for different formats of webinar. This way you have a tested trove and a tested path for your insights over time, telling you how to figure out what works best, what to keep improving on. Trust me, it's a game changer when it comes to building out your webinars. And tip number 4, think beyond traditional webinar promotions. While email marketing and social media webinars are the promotional staples, consider some unconventional, maybe some little nuances. You could partner with influencers. You can identify your niche audience and then find somebody inside of that space and work with them to promote your event. This can significantly impact your exposure. Also, I suggest maybe running a social media contest, generate some buzz with a social media contest tied to your webinar topic, offer an incentive for following the account, sharing the event, or tagging a friend. While this promotes not only your brand, this will also promote the webinar itself. And another really cool idea would be to guest blog or put this on relevant sites. Contribute to a guest blog on a website that's frequented by your target audience and briefly discuss the topic that's going to be in your webinar. Include a clear call to action for registration at the end because that's how you're going to get people. And if your audience is on X or LinkedIn, consider hosting live sessions and have chats to build up the anticipation. I recommend doing some live Q&A where you can briefly discuss the webinar topics and answer questions to your audience and get them ready for the event. You can also plug the webinar throughout, which is a really useful tool. Tip number 5, have questions ready for Q&A. While your attendees most likely will be loaded with questions and have all these, prompts to give you, Make sure you have a few pre-prepared that in case there's no conversation happening, you can turn to and say, oh, hey, look, so-and-so put in the, asked blah, blah, blah. That way you can have something to fill in that space. And the final tip, number 6, always offer a call to action. Don't leave your audience hanging on the webinar. Clearly tell them what you want them to do next, whether it's downloading a white paper, signing up for a free trial, or making a purchase. Make sure your offer is, number 1, easy to understand and easy to explain. Make sure that they understand the value prop. Number 2, it's frictionless. It offers the users an experience that saves them time or money. It is exclusive to the webinar. They can't get it anywhere else. Another good way is making sure it's problem solving. Make sure that you're offering something that addresses their need. And the last little bit there, you want to make sure that it's a simple purchase, something they can easily do, and also that there's some kind of scarcity involved. That way they know, hey, I have to get it now. By providing this clear CTA, you can maximize the return on the investment for your webinar. So, do you have any other tips for webinars? Drop them in the comments below. As always, I hope you have a great week and a marvelous Marketing Monday.